Hello, this is Brian Kinghorn and I'm going to tell you about preparing your key parameter file for MateSel, and it's called MateSel.ini. For the simplest MateSel run, you need a main data file. We've already talked about that in a previous video, MateSel.ini, and in a later video we'll talk about one of these grouping files. So here on the right is an example of MateSel.ini, and most of the values in here are used to populate the graphical user interface for your MateSel run. This means that you don't have to type into these text boxes and controls new information every time you make a run. Some of the parameters are not on the user interface and they're fixed for the run. We're not going to discuss any of the content of MateSel.ini in detail here. You can find out about these things in the manual by searching for keywords that you find in the file or by looking at other videos. It's all covered elsewhere. At the bottom of the MateSel.ini file, there are parameters relating to the numbers of traits and markers that you've got in your project. And these are managed through this trait and marker management control box that you've seen in other videos. So how do you prepare MateSel.ini? Well, you don't really prepare it from scratch. I would type it in from the beginning. Either edit the downloaded example or one of your own examples from another project. And what you can also do is completely leave it out from the run, and MateSel will make an instance of MateSel.ini for you to start from. And in any circumstance, if the numbers of markers or traits are not correct, at the bottom of the MateSel.ini that is being used for your project, you will be given a message to that effect. MateSel will recreate those and set all the parameter values to 0 so that you have a clean sheet to work from. And then as the run is progressing, you can click the save button to ensure that this new MateSel.ini is available for the next time you make a run. And just to remind you, there's that save button sitting up here. And you could click that button at any stage after the main run has started. We'll finish off by looking at a little bit more detail about this bottom part of MateSel.ini with information relating to your policy for different traits up here and markers down here, all controlled through the trait and marker management box shown here. So if you were to be interested in a policy of targeting bimodality for intramuscular fat, and you enter these numbers in the boxes and you do your run and you like the result, what you can do at that stage is click the save button to save a new copy of MateSel.ini. And then these parameters in this box, you can see them are saved in the ini file, so that next time you do a run from scratch, you will find that you will get these parameters implemented for intramuscular fat for that bimodality. So that the values here, 1.9, 1.3 and 40%, you can see in this line, and control type 9 is for targeting bimodality, and intramuscular fat is the 5th trait. When you see this, you realize you've got the opportunity to make edits to MateSel.ini and make those something that you keep, for example, for each weekly run in your operation, so you always have those things implemented, given that you've got sufficient confidence that this is an appropriate thing to do. Well, that's the end of our discussion about MateSel.ini. Thank you for listening.